Let's get weird into it. Number 10. Blue, the color of corporate obedience. You ever notice how every single thing that wants your trust, or wants you to sit quietly and not ask too many questions, is blue? Your bank, your social media feed, your insurance company, that weird tech startup that promises to optimize your synergy. They're all drenched in blue. This isn't a coincidence. It's not because the world's CEOs all had a meeting and decided blue was their favorite color. It's because blue is the color of non-threatening submission. Psychologically, blue is linked to calmness, stability, and productivity. It's the color of the sky on a day with zero chance of a dragon attack. It's the color of a vast, predictable ocean. When your brain sees blue, its little almond-sized anxiety center, the amygdala, takes a nap. It whispers to your subconscious, "Hey, relax. This faceless corporation probably won't steal your identity." They used a soothing shade of indigo. This is why Facebook and Twitter slathered their interfaces in blue. They wanted you to scroll for hours, your mind slowly turning into a calm, programmable mush, happily absorbing ads for socks you don't need without a single spike in your blood pressure. But there's a dark side to this sea of tranquility. Blue also suppresses the appetite and is one of the least appetizing colors. It's sterile, it's cold, and it lacks emotion. It's the perfect color for an entity that wants you to be a predictable, logical consumer, not a messy, passionate human. So, when you're mindlessly clicking agree on a 90-page terms of service document against a calming blue background, just know that your brain has been gently sedated into compliance. It's the visual equivalent of elevator music for your soul. Number 9. Green, the official color of lying about vegetables. Picture this. You're in the grocery store, a weary hunter-gatherer navigating aisles of processed beige. You want to be healthy, you really do. But your spirit craves salt and fat. Then you see it. A box of something called garden puffs, or veggie straws. The packaging is a lush, vibrant green. There's a picture of a smiling cartoon broccoli on it. You feel a wave of virtuous relief wash over you. You are making a good choice. You are a health god. Except you're not. You're being played. This is called greenwashing. And it's the marketing world's dirtiest little secret. Our brains have a deeply ingrained prehistoric association. Green equals nature. Nature equals life. Life equals good-for-you food. We see green and our caveman brain screams, "Eat! ISLEAF. Good for big hunt later." Marketers know this, and they exploit it with the ruthless efficiency of a velociraptor. They can take a chip that's been triple fried in engine oil, dust it with something vaguely onion-flavored, and as long as they put it in a green bag, a part of your brain will be convinced it's basically a salad. The product inside could be the color of a sad, gray Tuesday, but the idea of health has already been planted. They slap words like natural, organic, or farm fresh on there, and suddenly you're paying $5 extra to feel good about your life choices. You're not buying a snack. You're buying a tiny dose of self-delusion packaged in the color of a well-maintained lawn. Basically, the color green is your wallet's greatest enemy, and your denial's best friend. Number 8. Orange, the Buy This Now button. There's a reason Amazon's Buy Now button isn't a contemplative shade of lavender. There's a reason Home Depot, a store designed to make you spend hundreds on projects you'll never finish, is a giant orange box. Orange is the color of cheerful, brainless urgency. It doesn't have the full-blown 5-alarm fire panic of red, but it also doesn't have the chill, take-your-time vibe of blue. Orange exists in a perfect middle ground of, "Hey, look at me. This is fun and not at all a serious financial decision." Orange combines the energy of red with the happiness of yellow. It's friendly, it's confident, and it screams action. It's the color of a sunset that makes you want to do something spontaneous, like book a flight to a country you can't pronounce. In the world of marketing, orange is used to create a sense of affordable, accessible fun. Think Nickelodeon or Fanta. It's not trying to be sophisticated like black or trustworthy like blue. It's just trying to get you to click, buy, or subscribe without overthinking it. It's the color equivalent of your one friend who's always saying, "Come on, what's the worst that could happen?" When you see that orange button, your brain gets a tiny subconscious nudge. It's a call to adventure, a call to immediate gratification. You're not just adding to cart, you're joining a party. A party that, coincidentally, ends with a confirmation email and a slightly lighter bank account. Orange is the ultimate enabler, a brightly colored devil on your shoulder whispering, "Go on, you deserve it." Number 7. Black, the uniform of expensive air. Why does a plain black t-shirt from a luxury brand cost $500, while the exact same t-shirt in beige costs $30? The answer is the color black itself. Black isn't just a color, it's a statement. It's the color of the infinite void, the night sky, and things that are far too cool to explain themselves. And for that reason, it's the ultimate symbol of luxury, power, and exclusivity. When your eyes see black, especially in a minimalist setting, your brain doesn't just register an absence of light. It registers weight, seriousness, authority. Think about it. Judges' robes, limousines, the American Express black card. These things aren't black by accident. The color implies that this object, this person, this brand is not to be trifled with. It's timeless, it's elegant, and it subtly suggests that if you have to ask the price, you absolutely cannot afford it. Luxury brands have mastered this. They drain all the color from their packaging and storefronts, leaving only stark black and white. This creates a feeling of sophistication and mystery. It makes you feel like you're not just buying a handbag. You're buying into an exclusive club for people who understand the aesthetic. The product itself becomes secondary. You're paying a premium for the feeling the color gives you. The feeling of being powerful, chic, and slightly intimidating. It's a genius marketing trick. They sell you the color of nothing, and in return, you feel like you have everything. Number 6. Yellow, a panic attack you can see. Of all the colors in the spectrum, yellow is the most exhausting. Your eyes literally have to work harder to process it, which is why it's so good at grabbing your attention. But it doesn't just grab your attention. It grabs it by the throat, shakes it violently, and screams directly into its face. Yellow is the color of anxiety. Think about where you see it. Warning signs, hazard tape, clearance racks, and highlighter pens used by students frantically cramming for an exam they're about to fail. It's the first color the human eye notices, an evolutionary trick to help us spot things like wasps, poisonous frogs, and, I assume, dangerously fast bananas. This high visibility triggers a primal fight-or-flight adjacent response in our brains. It's a shot of visual caffeine that says, pay attention, something is happening. This is why fast food restaurants often splash yellow all over their signs and interiors. It creates a subtle sense of agitation. They don't want you to get comfortable. They want you to eat quickly, feel a little antsy, and then leave, making room for the next customer. The yellow on a for sale sign or a limited time offer banner does the same thing. It manufactures a sense of urgency and scarcity, making you feel like if you don't act now, you'll miss out forever. It's not just a color. It's a tiny, persistent alarm bell for your nervous system, turning you into a more impulsive, slightly more panicked version of yourself. Number 5. White, the minimalist void. There is no company on Earth that has weaponized a color quite like Apple has weaponized white. Before the iMac and the iPod, tech was a dreary landscape of beige, gray, and black boxes. It was complicated, intimidating, and looked like it belonged in a government cubicle. Then Apple came along and presented the future in a clean, pristine white shell, and our brains collectively lost their minds. White is the color of simplicity, purity, and emptiness. When you look at an Apple product or walk into one of their stores, you're not just seeing a device. You're experiencing a deliberate absence of clutter. The overwhelming whiteness creates a sense of clean, effortless futurism. It tricks your brain into thinking that the impossibly complex supercomputer in your hand is as simple and intuitive as a blank sheet of paper. All the messy code, the conflicting software, the planned obsolescence, it all disappears behind a friendly, sterile white facade. This is a masterclass in psychological manipulation. The minimalist aesthetic makes you feel calm, organized, and in control, even when you're wrestling with a software update that just bricked your phone. It suggests honesty and transparency, creating a halo effect around the brand. You feel like you're not just buying a gadget. You're buying a piece of a better, cleaner, more streamlined future. It's the ultimate illusion, selling you a box of immense complexity by making it look like an elegant, empty space. Number 4. Purple, fancy chocolate, and alien kings. For most of human history, the color purple was ridiculously hard to make. You had to harvest thousands of tiny sea snails, milk their mucus, and let it bake in the sun just to get a few grams of dye. Because of this, only emperors, kings, and absurdly wealthy senators could afford to wear it. This history is burned into our collective unconscious. Even today, when purple is as cheap to make as any other color, our brains still see it and think, ooh, fancy. Purple is the color of luxury, royalty, and a touch of magic. It's not as aggressive as black or as earthy as green. It's special. This is why brands use it when they want to signify premium quality with a hint of mystique. Think of a Cadbury chocolate bar. That deep, royal purple wrapper subconsciously tells you that this isn't just any cheap candy. This is a rich, decadent treat. It's a tiny, affordable indulgence that makes you feel a little bit regal. Wellness and new age brands also love purple because it's associated with spirituality and the cosmos. It's the color of twilight, of amethyst crystals, of things that are just beyond our normal, everyday understanding. It suggests wisdom, creativity, and a connection to a higher plane. So when a yoga studio or a tarot card reader uses purple in their branding, they're tapping into that ancient association with the rare and the sacred. They're selling you something that feels both luxurious and a little bit otherworldly, all thanks to a color once reserved for snail-milking monarchs. Number 3. Pink, the aggression pacifier. In the late 1970s, a researcher named Alexander Schaus made a bizarre discovery. He found that a very specific shade of pink, a dull, Pepto-Bismol-like color he called Baker-Miller pink, seemed to have a profound calming effect on people. It was so effective, he claimed, that it could sap the aggression right out of violent inmates. So, naturally, naval correctional facilities started painting their drunk tanks this exact shade of pink. The idea was that you could toss an angry, belligerent sailor into the room, and the color alone would turn him into a docile kitten. The science behind it is called chromotherapy, and the theory was that this specific frequency of light had a direct tranquilizing effect on the endocrine system, lowering heart rate and suppressing aggressive instincts. For a while, it seemed to work. Inmates did report feeling calmer. But then, a funny thing happened. The effect wore off. After about 15 to 30 minutes of exposure, some inmates would become even more agitated and aggressive than before. It was like the color was a temporary sedative, and when it wore off, the rage came back with a vengeance. While the drunk tank pink experiment is now mostly seen as a quirky psychological footnote, it reveals something fascinating about how deeply color can mess with our physiology. The initial calming effect was likely a placebo, driven by the cultural association of pink with gentleness and femininity. But the backlash shows that trying to chemically force a mood on someone with a bucket of paint is a risky game. Your body might be lulled into a temporary stupor, but it knows when it's being condescended to by a wall color. Number 2, the placebo color wheel. You go to the doctor with a headache. She gives you 2 pills and says, the red one is a powerful, fast-acting stimulant painkiller. The blue one is a gentle, slow-release sedative painkiller. Which one do you think will work better? The overwhelming answer is the red one. Even if both pills are nothing but compressed sugar, your brain has already decided the red pill is superior. This is the placebo effect on a color-coded rampage. Countless studies have shown that the color of a pill has a measurable impact on how effective a patient believes it will be, which in turn affects how effective it actually is. Our brains are walking, talking bundles of cliches. We associate colors with specific functions, and our bodies follow suit. Red and yellow pills are perceived as stimulants or uppers. Blue and green pills are seen as tranquilizers or downers. White pills are thought to be generic painkillers, and brightly colored capsules are seen as more powerful than plain tablets. This isn't just a fun party trick. It's a fundamental principle of pharmaceutical design. Drug companies intentionally color their medications to align with patient expectations. They are literally designing the placebo effect right into the product. Your brain is so thoroughly conditioned by a lifetime of cultural color coding, red for stop/danger, blue for calm/water, that it can be tricked into healing itself, or at least feeling like it is, based on nothing more than a cheap dye. You think you're getting medicine, but what you're really getting is a tiny colored suggestion that your gullible nervous system is all too happy to believe. Number 1. Red, the caveman's dinner bell. Of all the colors, red is the undisputed king of messing with your brain. It is the most primal, the most powerful, and the most manipulative color in the entire spectrum. It's the color of blood, fire, and ripe fruit. For our ancient ancestors, red meant one of 2 things: danger or lunch, and that deep, instinctual programming is still running the show today. When you see the color red, your body has a physical reaction. Your heart rate increases, your blood pressure rises, and your pituitary gland starts pumping adrenaline. It literally puts your body on high alert. This is why stop signs, fire alarms, and sale tags are all red. They are designed to bypass your rational thought process and trigger an immediate instinctual response. Act now. And nowhere is this more expertly exploited than in the fast food industry. McDonald's, KFC, Burger King. They all use red as their primary color for a reason. Red has been shown to increase appetite. It makes you feel hungry, and it makes you make impulsive decisions. You walk in, see the sea of red. Your heart rate quickens. You suddenly feel ravenous, and before you know it, you've ordered a family-sized meal for one. Red doesn't just suggest urgency. It creates it in your very physiology. It's a full-body hijack. You think you're in control, calmly deciding what you want to eat. But your lizard brain has already taken the wheel, screaming about survival and ripe berries, and is driving you straight towards a double cheeseburger. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.